What's going on, guys? Chadjo back again with a little bit of a different kind of video today. Today we're going to be talking about philosophy. A couple days ago, PewDiePie put out a video about Nietzsche, the German philosopher, and I kind of wanted to make a video today just kind of talking about one of the main things that Nietzsche was actually known for. One of the main topics was which was his eternal return. I actually had to write that down. I've actually did a lot of research for today's video. I'm actually really into philosophy. PewDiePie actually pretty much inspired me to make today's video, so big shout out to him. I'm actually going to leave a link down below for the video that inspired me to make this. But I do love philosophy, and I figured this would be a good time to kind of talk to you guys a little bit openly about philosophy and kind of share with you guys some of my passion with it. So the topic of today's video is actually something that Nietzsche covered a lot, and it's going to be over Amor Fati, or otherwise known as to love one's fate. Now, Nietzsche was known for a lot of different things. He is actually known, mainly people associate him with nihilism, even though he actively fought against nihilism. For those who don't know, nihilism is basically the idea that life has no meaning.
When you know nothing matters, the universe is yours.
But Nietzsche pretty much fought against that by saying we give it meaning, as, you know, we as in people. But in today's world, that's what people mostly know him as, is the main nihilist guy. He's also known for the quote, God is dead. But a lot of people actually shorten that quote. It's actually God is dead and we have killed him, which kind of talks about how Christianity has these certain moral values, and sometimes it actually goes against our own values just to try and follow religion. But that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about Amor Fati, but as far as Nietzsche covered it, he kind of covered it with something called the eternal return, which I kind of wanted to discuss with you guys just because this is not something that you usually see about Nietzsche, for one, but for another thing, not a lot of people know about Nietzsche or even really what he stood for. But Amor Fati is something that Nietzsche actually preached quite often. He actually wrote a book about it, actually. I believe it was called The Gay Science. Let me look that up before I say that. Yes, okay, I'm right. So yes, eternal recurrence is in The Gay Science, which is the book written by Nietzsche, as well as the God is dead whole quote and everything like that. But Amor Fati is closely related to Nietzsche's eternal recurrence, and Amor Fati is something that I've actually used in my life quite often that's actually helped me a lot with getting through some really difficult parts of my life. And I feel like I need to share this information with people just for those who need to hear it. And honestly, it's a great way to view life because it helps you appreciate even the most harsh things in life. Sit back, relax, and if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I would love to make more content like this because I am a lover of philosophy, and I would love to share all this kind of stuff with you guys. So let me know down in the comments what you think. And just so you guys know, I may be stumbling over my words. I literally wrote like 4 pages worth of crap just to try and get ready for today. For this video, so I did prepare a lot more than I usually prepare for videos. That being said, I'm still probably going to be stumbling all over the place because if you guys know anything about philosophy, it's some of the stuff's kind of hard to grasp. So I'm just going to try and get this information out to you as best as I can, and hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about. But going back to eternal recurrence, this is basically a hypothetical idea that Nietzsche proposed. It goes something like this. What if someday or night a demon were to steal after you into your loneliest loneliness and say to you, this life, as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and an innumerable times more. Would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke thus? Or have you once experienced a tremendous moment when you would have answered him, you are a god, and never have I heard anything more divine? So, again, philosophy, blah, blah, blah. Layman terms, here we go. Basically what he's saying is, imagine that when you die, you're just restarting your life right over to the beginning, and you have to go through all these same events, the good, the bad, the ugly. At first, this sounds terrible, right? Like, who would want to go through all the terrible stuff that's happened in your life and have to go through it in an innumerable amount of times? Or on the other hand, what if you have an enlightened moment in which you appreciate all these terrible things, good things, all these moments in your life, and appreciate them for what they are? And to be able to appreciate all the stuff that would happen in your life, again, the bad, the ugly, and the good, you would need Amor Fati, which again means to love one's fate. One of the things I wanted to do to try and put a twist on this is I kind of wanted to relate it to anime, because I am an anime guy. I love anime. And there's a bunch of philosophical moments in a lot of different animes where Amor Fati would come into an anime. For example, in Naruto, he's born as the nine-tailed fox. He has a demon literally sealed into him. Some of the worst circumstances that you could ever imagine. A demon trapped inside your body to the point to where everyone alienates you for most of your childhood. But for those who watch Naruto, we all know that Naruto appreciates all these moments. He appreciates having the demon inside of him because it wouldn't have made him who he was. He needed these experiences to really appreciate the good in life. My favorite example of this in anime, though, is actually from Berserk. Guts from Berserk is living and breathing Amor Fati. That man has been born into some of the worst circumstances there possibly could be. I mean, you look at his life starts out, for those who don't know Berserk, this man's life starts out being born inside of a dead body. I believe in the anime, his mom had actually been hung and she was pregnant. She still ended up giving birth after she was dead, and some mercenaries picked him up. After that, the mercenaries tried to sell him for sex. After that, he became a mercenary himself. After that, his best friend tried to kill him. No spoiler alerts, But Guts also displays what's known as Stoicism better than any main character in any anime I've ever seen. For those who don't know what Stoicism is, it's basically another philosophical train of thought that you actually have to be able to have Amor Fati. Stoicism is basically the belief that we must live in accordance with nature, meaning that we can't try and fight our circumstances. You can't change where you were born, who your parents are, you can't even change the stars in the sky. So why even get mad over it? That's basically the ideas of Stoicism, is to work with nature, not against nature. Flow with the current, don't fight the current. And again, Stoicism is required to have Amor Fati because you must live in accordance to nature to be able to appreciate your own fate, or rather to accept your own circumstances. Very good quote I got from this anime, and trust me, there's gonna be a lot of good quotes. Even if we painstakingly piece together something lost, it doesn't mean we will ever go back to how they were. Meaning, there's no point in trying to change the past, so why be getting all upset over it? You know, why not just move on and try and focus on the future? And at the same time, try not to change things that you can't change.
It's just my nature. I'd rather fight with my sword than run away, that's all.
A lot of people actually try to avoid all these bad times in their lives, obviously, because who wants to have bad times? But Amor Fati suggests that you need these bad times in order to understand what good times are, and not even that, but to experience that experience that's so human. And when people are scared, they tend to look outwards for other people. They want guidance.
Each man casts his own into the strongest fire of them all. A raging fire. That is Griffith. But my light isn't to be seen among them. Still, after all this time, it seems that I'm just someone who stopped to warm himself at the bonfire in passing.
What really Stoicism and Amor Fati kind of suggest is the opposite, is you need to look within, not externally. Guts takes it a step further by saying, people who perish in others' battles are worms. If one can't live their life the way they want, they might as well die. I'd rather fight for my life than live it. Basically stating that he'd rather fight for his moral values than to fight for someone else's moral values. In the practice of Stoicism, it is actually believed that true happiness comes through the pursuit of an end goal, not the end goal itself. So for example, one thing that a lot of people in this world have in common is that they think they don't have enough money. An external thing, right? People work so hard for that money. You know, they think all day. People work very, very, very hard. They can, one day I'm gonna be rich, one day I'm gonna be successful, one day I'm gonna have it all and I'm gonna prove everyone wrong, fuck you! But Stoicism flips that on its head and basically says, no, it's not the end goal that we want. It's the pursuit of the end goal, which is actually what we call virtue. And virtue can come in a lot of different varieties. You know, for example, I do MMA, so I train for MMA. I don't train to be the best in the world. I train because I train. If you want to make money, that's great. But do you really think the happiness is going to come all at the end, or do you think you're going to get most of it along the journey? Stoicism pays the way to Amor Fati because it requires you to accept your own fate. And then Amor Fati only comes after, once you've learned to love your own fate, once you've learned to love all these circumstances that you're born in. Because believe it or not, pain helps us grow, and without it, we may wither away. For example, this has been proven to be true. If you put a tree in a biodome, if you guys don't know what a biodome is, or an ecosphere, it's essentially like what we're trying to do on Mars. So imagine we take a tree to Mars, and there's not a lot of things in Mars that'll actually keep the tree alive, right? So say we put like a biodome over it, and we've done this actually on Earth, believe it or not. And here's why it actually won't work. Without the harsh wind that the trees have to encounter, the tree won't actually grow its roots into the ground to stay in place. It'll actually fall right over and die because there was no stimulus to keep it living. Hard times are necessary not only to reach our potential, but to help us feel content with our lives. And when you think about it, if we didn't have suffering, pain, bad times, how could we tell the difference between bad times and good times? It would all just be kind of bland, right? And there's actually an interesting quote that I want to say that actually kind of relates to this. And it goes a little something like this. Hard times make hard men. Hard men make good times. Good times make soft men, and soft men make hard times. Throughout history, this has been proven to be mostly true. A great example of this would be the Roman Empire. And believe it or not, guys, when you compare it to our past, and I'm not talking about way back in the past, I'm talking within the past 100 years, we're living in good times. And I believe that's a big reason why depression is actually rising over the past 50 years. It's rising significantly if you guys haven't seen any of the charts. Plainly speaking, in good times, we tend to lack the stimulus we need for our own internal struggles. We need this stimulus to even deal with small amounts of suffering. Without a stimulus like suffering, we tend to lack meaning in our lives. And this is why it's important to remember, Amor Fati, love your own fate. Now, obviously, you can make your own stimuli for suffering. For me, for example, it's working out. Obviously, working out is not the most comfortable thing, but going through it helps me deal with some of the more daunting tasks that I have to deal with because I've dealt with daunting tasks before in my workout. I definitely don't ever feel like going to squat 315 for sets of 10. It hurts. Or hell, even going on a 5-mile run. None of it's really that fun, but I do it because it's for discipline and it's a stimuli. I need it. And without that stimuli, we tend to have a hard time coping. But for me, Amor Fati is the perfect coping mechanism because you can use it in almost any situation, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, obviously, just because you have a coping mechanism doesn't mean you should stop being virtuous. In fact, if you stop being virtuous, you would be left without Stoicism, and you require Stoicism to achieve Amor Fati. But rather, it would mean to let go of your external struggles and to move forward. So, just to wrap things up, I have a challenge for you all. Next time you go through something emotional, whether it be good, bad, or ugly, repeat this phrase, Amor Fati, love one's fate. The next time it rains, Amor Fati. You get fired from your job, Amor Fati. The next time a loved one dies, Amor Fati. Love your fate, not because you can't change it, but because there's a human experience on the other side that you must experience in order to be human. Well, guys, we did it. We covered some philosophy. Hopefully you guys understood what the hell I was saying. I tried my best. I wrote 4 pages of research on here that just tended to be a whole blobbly mess. But I really hope it did shine through to you guys. And I really hope you guys enjoy this kind of stuff as much as I do, because I do find it very fascinating. And these kinds of philosophical trains of thought really do help me, you know, move forward with my life, let go of some of the ugly things of my past. And not only let go of it, but also appreciate those things because they made me who I am today, and I wouldn't change that for anything. And if you guys do want to see some more of this kind of content, leave a like, comment down below, let me know what you thought about the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.